Hi everybody, welcome to another Tracks on Sundays. I'm Trax the Max, and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are on the Only Voids account again, where we are only allowed to use the sexiest of champions. And speaking of sexy, you probably already noticed the thumbnail where we picked up a very special guest for the account. None less than Arbiter. Yeah, last week we were already pretty close, right? We only needed to do the 100 million on Nightmare, so I got that finished and summoned her during CVC. Now, I haven't booked her yet because it wasn't a personal rewards CVC, and, you know, that's 27,000 points on the table. I was like, I want to summon her, which is already a lot of points for personal rewards, but also booking her would be losing out on too many points, so having her on the account has already been phenomenal. I'll go over that in a second, but I don't really need the books immediately for her to be useful already, right? So we're going to skip that until next PR CVC, and yeah, then she'll have her full potential, hopefully. We also tossed some gear onto her, as you can see. I didn't use an optimizer or anything like that because, well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure most of my fastest pieces are on my Warcaster, and I can't take them anyway, and I just didn't want to deal with the locking situation in HH Optimizer. It was just easier for me to just go into my gear and just sort out the fastest gear I had laying around, doing nothing at that point, and just throw it on her. And well, this is what we ended up with. And I'd say for gear just laying around, getting 315 speed amazed me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed. But I gotta say, these days, you know, with the ability to ascend your pieces like this and stuff like that, it's, you know, it's a little less amazing than it used to be like 2 years ago. Like 2 years ago, 315 speed was decent for a champion, I'd say, but you know, these days with the empowerments and ascending and blah blah blah, eh, it's all right. It's fine. Anyway, we also went ahead and got her masteries done. I'm not completely 100% sure what the best masteries for her are, but I did feel like I wanted to get this timely intervention on her where she gets 20% turn meter whenever an ally hero drops below 25% HP. You know, like a typical reviver type champion would like to have, at least. I did pick up a little bit of accuracy here because I do think her A1 and A2 can be very handy. The A1 with the weaken, the A2 trying to knock off some buffs from the opponent, right? And then here, just some basic defensive kind of masteries. Like for Arena, this is a really good one. It's way better than the AoE one because this one gives you 8% damage reduction on critical hits. In Arena, mostly the champions are critting you, so this extra 3% is better than the 5% you get from there. You do have to take resistance to get that, but I mean, that's fine. Doesn't really matter that much. Gets a little extra healing even from herself, right? From her own A3. Yeah, just some random other things. I guess this one is kind of important too. Has a 50% chance of increase in turn meter by 15%. When an ally is attacked with a critical hit, will only increase the turn meter once if an ally receives multiple critical hits from a single skill. So basically, eventually when she's built a little tankier than she is right now, these two skills, or masteries I mean, they will provide or have a chance to provide some turn meter, right? Which might let her cut in or whatever. Yeah. Also increases speed by 8 for each dead ally. So, you know, if the squad is down, she's going to get 24 extra speed on top of her pretty fast speed already. Just a typical fast Arbiter Reviver build. Nothing special. Very squishy at the moment, as you can see. Again, I just threw on the gear that I had. It's you have level 12 gear here. This can still be leveled up to 16. Yeah, but good stuff nonetheless. Very nice. We also have a little surprise. Not the mini pack. That's no surprise to anyone anymore. Maybe you've picked it up already. I'll give you a second to look at what's different on this screen comparing to last week. Did you catch it? If you caught it, good for you. If you didn't catch it, no worries. It's easy to overlook, but we actually cleared the Doom Tower. This is our first rotation clearing the Doom Tower, which is pretty huge. Gives us an extra Void Shard, so we're sitting on 11 Void Shards. I kind of hoped that it was going to be a 2x this week. I don't know. Rumors were going around that it was this week, but apparently it's this stupid progressive chance. I mean, Terrace is really nice, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be pulling shards to maybe pull a Terrace. Nah, no thanks. So we're just going to behave and we're going to hold on to our shards this week. We still have a lot to work on anyway, so it's fine. We don't really need to pull shards because there's also a fusion going on, as most of you know, and this dude right here, Slix's Stripe Hide, is a Void Epic that we can get, and we can get 4 copies if we complete the whole thing. We're most likely not going to get all 4 of these, but 2, maybe 3 is the goal here. I'm definitely building 1 to 60. That's definitely going to happen. The second one, I'm not completely sure. If I get a third one, that one's definitely going to be to +1, one of the other 2. But yeah, 4 is a little far-fetched, I think. We are on our way to get this one from the Dungeon Divers. We also got the one from Arena, I believe. Yes, there's 25 there. And then the Fire Knight, we pretty much dominated as well. I don't know if anyone has caught up yet. No, not really. They might catch up to me by tomorrow. I don't know. But I assume I'm still going to be doing a little bit of Fire Knight anyway, so it's fine. Because right now there's regeneration going on. And regeneration, I've decided that I think that is actually just, for an early game account, the most broken thing in the game. It's basically a cheat code at this point. We saw it with my Rage Monger in the beginning of the series, where he was just like soloing stage 13 of Dragon and stuff like that, which, you know, for a rare is ridiculous. But now let's hop into the Doom Tower and I'll just show you what I mean, because last week I think I told you guys about how I was messing around with champions and using a lot of silver in the artifact enhancement events that were going on, you know, last week or previous to that. One of the champions that I was working on at that point was this dude right here, our Fellhound. See, our Fellhound has a fine history on this account. I've used this doggo quite a bit now. But he was still in his like level 4 guarding gear that we got in the first or second week of playing, right? So I took the opportunity with the free gear removal to get that off of him and see if I could get him into some kind of regeneration set with high speeds and high resistance. Now, I can show you the stats I got him into right here. Let's get into the Doom Tower, then we get the full thing. Yep, there you go. So as you can see, I got him to 408 resistance, 227 speed. His defense is very... I'd like that to be like 3,500. If I could get that to 3,500, then I'm happy with this build. Like, he'll probably never get out of this build if I can get that on him. Right now, this defense is quite low. I'm not going to lie. That is something I have to work on still. But other than that, this guy is amazing, dude. Amazing. So what you see here, And I'm not going to do this all over again. If you really want to know the tactic of how you're supposed to deal with Bommel with a solo Fellhound, I'm going to pin a video up here somewhere, and you can check that out. But basically what he does is he puts up a block damage buff right before the bombs go off, that the ones on the ground, and he just resists all the rest that this guy does, and then he just slowly kills him. That's it. And he regenerates the whole time as well, because he's in a regeneration set. And these guys are just, you know, they're along for the ride to ease up the pain of the waves a little bit. But not only that, it's also for, let me show you Fellhound's masteries real quick again. It's, of course, for things such as this, to increase the speed, right? He gets some more speed here if he kills things in the waves. And here he gets some more damage for each dead ally. Well, only stacks up twice, but you do need the allies on your team to be dead. Otherwise, this doesn't work. So, eventually what happens is he stays by himself, right? He gets an extra 42 speed from the masteries. He gets 10% extra damage from this. And we also, as you might have noticed, switched up his masteries from the previous Bulwark to War Master to get some more damage done on the bosses. And yeah, he basically solos Bommel. One thing I forgot to mention, though, is that we also have Eurogrim here, who is basically there for a couple of A1s to get this this blessing off, right? What's it called again? Cruelty. So you lower the defense of the boss a little bit. Usually I don't even think he gets up to 5%. He probably dies before that. But every little bit helps, right? But he's mainly there for the speed aura. So makes our Fellhound even faster than he already is. He's running close to about 280 speed, I guess, at that point. So 280 speed and lots of regeneration. Block damage for the bombs on the ground. And yeah, that's it. So that was a huge milestone. I wasn't sure how far I was going to be able to push this rotation, because I kind of already had problems with this, but this was before I had Arbiter, mind you. So Scarab King here. Again, Fellhound is the man. So what happens here is same situation, only this time I have the other Eurogrim myth, and weird enough, I needed this one in particular because it's built a little tankier than this one. But again, what happens here is these come along again just to help a little bit with the waves. As you can see, these are like 5-star champions. They die pretty easily, right? But that's the idea. You want them to die. You also want her to die. However, you do want her to kind of do her thing with the defense down, because this is a very painful boss to deal with if you're not knocking down the shield. It's a very long battle because you're doing basically no damage on him. So I really wanted this. I'm not completely sure how much it is on bosses. Let's look real quick. So she does up to 15% defense decrease on bosses. So that's why she's here. But once she's done that, she can basically die as well. We don't really care. But unlike Bommel, our Eurogrim here is the one that we really need to stay alive. And instead of being the solo champion here as Fellhound, now he's actually being the support here. And what we're doing in this battle is we're basically keeping himself alive with the block damage buff, since his defense was low, as you could see, right? But also, this thing is on a 2-turn cooldown. I've talked about this a lot, that this is a pretty insane support move that no one ever really speaks of, but a 2-turn cooldown with this guy being super fast means you basically have this up all the time. You're going from A1 to A2 to A3 to A2 to A1 to A2 to A3 to A2 to A1. You see, you're just putting up A2s all the time, or whenever you want to. Now, I'm saying whenever you want to, and that's very important because the Scarab King here, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, has this one skill here called Vile Absorption. Attacks all enemies, places an extra hit on each enemy for each buff on the target. Each extra hit steals one random buff from enemies that have no shield buffs and removes one random buff from enemies under shield buffs. That's very important. So this guy steals your buffs with Vile Absorption. So if you're doing a continuous heal buff on yourself and the boss steals that, well, you're going to be fighting for a very long time, okay? Because, yeah, he's just going to heal up basically all the damage you just dealt. So I don't know if the time is on here. Yeah, so this took me 202 turns and 32 minutes of manual action. That's why I'm not going to do this all over again. But basically what you want to do is you want to keep in mind when this attack or this skill is going to come up, right? This Vile Absorption. When it does, you're fine as Fellhound to just do your A3 because you have 400 plus resistance, right? And he'll try to steal that, but you don't care because unless he, you know, gets the 3% luck or whatever, he never steals it. It did happen during the fight, by the way. I think it happened twice that he actually did steal the block damage. It is what it is. You can't really help that. That's the 3% bullcrap that's in the game, right? So yeah, whatever. But the same goes for this decreased speed. I've had this land on the boss while his accuracy is definitely not high enough. Still, it landed a couple of times as well. So, you know, it balances out a little bit. But yeah, you basically what he's trying to do here, this Fellhound is only trying to keep giving continuous heal buffs to your Eurogrim right before they get stolen. And once the Scarab King uses that skill, you go right back to putting on Flameborn Vigors and healing up that Eurogrim more. And Eurogrim is basically provoked the whole time. So he's just A1ing, but his A1 does give poisons, right? And those poisons are the reason why you win. So both of these champions, let's go over Eurogrim real quick. As you can see, regeneration, immortal, 200 speed, not the fastest, but it doesn't really matter. I guess I have to do Doom Tower here. Yeah, 204. Just has enough accuracy and has some survivability and just gets some extra healing even from Fellhound. Sometimes it would happen that I would think that Eurogrim needed some extra help and then I would throw on the A3 so that he gets block damage on him, right? So that he doesn't take damage from at least one turn. But yeah, basically Fellhound is just supporting Eurogrim and acting as like a target for, hey, I got these buffs, come at me. But, you know, he has so much resistance going for him in the Doom Tower, 408, that, you know, it doesn't get stolen normally. Yeah, that's how I got through this. Very slow, but we did it. Didn't think this was going to be possible, but yeah, we got it. Then we got Griffin. Now, Griffin, honestly, I'm not completely sure how this went. I think I just powered through it, really. I grabbed this guy along because I thought, well, he's never getting debuffed, which is always handy, which means he could probably put up a block damage buff on someone occasionally if they're in trouble, right? Or give them some extra healing or whatever. Again, being a pretty decent support champion feels a little bit like a Demitha, but then, you know, like a cheap Demitha. But yeah, again, Fellhound pulling through and being amazing. If you're doing the only Voids challenge yourself and you have a Fellhound, I would highly consider him to be used as a support or a way to deal with these bosses, because you don't have many options usually. And yeah, he's been phenomenal for me for this stuff. Really amazing. We knew he could do these bottom ones already. I showed you that in the previous one of the previous episodes. But like to solo Dreadhorn 90, to be assisting another champion, to duo the Scarab King, and then just providing support for this, absolutely bonkers, right? Amazing. Then we worked our way up, and then we came to the Dark Fae. Now, Dark Fae was a huge problem for me. I'll show you the team I used on this stage first. So this was the team I used before I got Arbiter. And these two are in stun sets, so basically I was just going off of RNG and rerunning this until they landed enough stuns in the beginning against your own team, right, with AoEs. But yeah, that wasn't so much of an option going into the last boss, because she's a little faster and the waves are a little harder coming up, right? I tried all kinds of stuff, but in the end, this was the team that did it. And Confessor, I gotta give it to her, man. She does have a small chance of decreasing target's turn meter, and this did happen a couple of times. Weirdly enough, this did happen a couple of times. And you know, she has the AoE here. She has a random A3 that's not very useful, but just the combination of these champions did it for me. So you have the Arbiter with the speed up or the turn meter increase with attack up buff. This attack up is very important, by the way. Then you have our Basher, of course, who increases the cooldown of all the target skills by 2 turns, so they don't get, so your copies don't get any skills, basically. She comes in with the defense down, and these two go in with their nukes and nuke down the team. Easy as pie, right? But yeah, the core piece here was definitely getting that Arbiter for the attack up. This right here, just placing the 50%, right, and getting the turn meter boost is such a big deal. You'd think that, oh, it's only 50%, but you're basically doing half of your damage extra, right? That's how you have to read it. These are all attack-based champions, so even she's an attack-based champion. So they're all doing half of what they were normally doing, extra on top of that, and that's allowing us to just nuke our own, you know, our copies of the team, right? I couldn't bring Skull Crown because she has that passive where she pops back up with the revive on, or the unkillable buff, right? I was trying some stuff out first with her plus Warcaster, and then trying to place block buffs onto the copy and stuff like that, but it didn't really work out that well. Yeah, but this got there in the end, so we did it. And now we're slowly trying to get some levels done here, but we'll see how far we get. We still have a week and 3 days. I don't really see myself even clearing this first Bommel stage anyway, but you know, picking up some goodies here and there. Maybe we can clear this. I don't know what this is, and maybe we can pick up these gems. Always handy. Some speed glyphs, definitely handy. Anyway, yeah, I think that's basically the update of the account. Let me see right here. Anything I forgot? Oh, I forgot something big, actually. I forgot something big. So this guy, I've been leveling up Terex the Restless, or if you follow J Gigs, you'll also know this guy as Terry. I've been leveling up Terry here because we picked up something pretty amazing. We have a 6-star blessing for this dude. So yeah, now I'm kind of obligated to get him in the mix and get him to 6-star. I was going to anyway, but now he's definitely going to get 6-starred for sure. Yeah, really cool stuff there. Excited to see what he's actually going to bring for us. If there's anything else we can use him for other than Faction Wars, maybe. But yeah. Other than that, yeah, not much to say. We're just working on the copies for this guy. My goal is to get at least 2 of them so that, you know, we have one that we can definitely use and build for our Faction Wars and as a backup nuker to our Skull Crown. And the other copy we might build, might not build. We'll have to see how the account evolves and stuff like that. But having the second copy will always be handy just for the Guardian here or something like that, right? You can throw them in here. But yeah, that's going to be it for this week. We're not going to pull any shards. A 2x has to be around the corner at this point. It's been a while again, so we have our fingers crossed, and you know, hopefully it's going to be next week with the summon or the champion chase. I mean, that would be pretty good for us. We have 11 shards now. Maybe we can pick up a couple more with Clan Boss or something like that. And yeah, hopefully get lucky next week. Thank you so much again for joining this week. If there's anything you want to talk about or ask me or tell me. Last week I got a remark about my camera not being that great, and I know this is an issue. I promise this is something I'm going to work on. I just have some other things to deal with in life first, but once I get everything in order, definitely that thing right there is going to get an update, and pretty much my lighting and stuff like that too, because that's also kind of wonky at the moment. But hang on there, guys. We'll be back with some better stuff. Again, also, if you didn't know this yet, once we hit 750 subscribers, and this before the 1st of December, I will be doing a 24-hour stream. I don't know why I agreed upon that, but I said it, so that's what's going to happen. So yeah, if you're not subscribed yet, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what it is. And yeah, hope you guys have a nice week, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.